Alright, CNT125, Subnet Application Lab. We just got done configuring both of our switches, so we're now going to move on to the routers. We'll go just a little slower on this one, because this will be the first time we're actually configuring the routers in our network. I'm taking my console cable and I'm plugging it right into my router. I didn't need to restart my session, so I'm going to hit the enter key. Again, with the routers, if you get prompted for, do you want to enter initial system configuration dialog, say no. That is a setup program we don't want to use. I'll come up to a router prompt like so. Enable will get me to the privilege mode, just like before. And we're going to start in. The first piece is going to look very similar. Let's give it a name. So we'll do config T, configure terminal, and we'll give it a name, host name. And this one, I plugged into the 2011 router. I'm doing this one over here on the left first. So I will call it 2011 RTR Subnet. Okay, that way I know it's the 2011 router. Now that I have a host name on, again, if I had to change that, if I hit the up arrow, it brings the last command back, and I could just correct what I need here. Maybe I want it to be like this for Subnet. Just hit the enter key. That'll fix that name for me. Okay? That's what these troubleshooting tips over here for to help you out. Let's now do the interfaces. This has two interfaces. It has Fast Ethernet 00 and Fast Ethernet 01. So let's do the Fast Ethernet 00. So we'll do interface Fast Ethernet 0/0. That is the full command. That is the full command. And you notice it changes to interface mode. Now, I'm going to give you two shortcuts right now. So I'm going to do exit. I'm going to say interface. And I'm going to start typing Fast Ethernet. I'm going to use the tab key. If I use the tab key, it completes the command for me, and I can fill in the port I need. That's the first shortcut I'm going to show you. That can be very, very handy. The other shortcut I'm going to show you is if I do interface int, and I do FA 0/0, that is a total shortcut. Int is short for interface, FA is short for Fast Ethernet, and I plug the port number behind 0/0. That is the most shortcut I can use. You're going to see me use that a bunch. So I just wanted you to know that right off the bat. So interface Fast Ethernet 00, I'm in that mode. Now I can plug its IP address in, very much like we did with the switch. So we will plug in, make sure I have the correct one here. Make sure I have the correct one. 172.16.0.1, followed by the subnet mask, 192.0. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to issue the no shutdown command. But what I want you to do, before you hit the enter key, look at your router. Watch your router, and I'm looking at the link lights that are vertical, in this case the 2011, vertical next to the port. I'm going to look at the link lights right next to that port. I'm going to hit the enter key, and if I wait about 2 seconds, I'll see those link lights kick on. And then on my console here, I will see another message pop up that says that is on. That is letting you know that port has been turned on and is now functioning. I'm going to hit the enter key. Excellent. I'm going to repeat this for the other interface. Int FA 0/1. IP address. We're going to use this one now because this is the other network, the other interface. So 172.16.64.1 followed by the subnet mask. I'm going to say no shutdown. Now, this might not kick on because we haven't configured this router yet and turned that interface on. So it might turn on and then try to shut back off. That's okay. Once I do the other router and turn it on, this link should become active. Okay, good deal. This router, we're almost done. We have both interfaces done. There's the first interface. There's the second interface. Now we need to put the routing protocol in. So it'll learn all the networks that are out there. This takes a little bit more. We're going to use the command router OSPF 2. Now, router says, hey, I want to configure a routing protocol. OSPF says this is the one I want to configure, and 2 is the process ID. Now, we're going to talk about these a little bit in Chapter 9, so we're getting a little, kind of like a little sneak preview. I want to do routing protocol OSPF, and 2 is a process ID. I could have multiple instances of this running. This keeps track of those instances. So I will do that, and my prompt changes the router saying, hey, you're doing routing protocol config. The next thing I need to do is I need to plug the networks that are out there that it should be talking to and learning. Well, we have 3 subnets. We have this subnet, this one, and this one. That's why we put those numbers there too. I need to plug those in and let it know these are out there. Please talk to them and learn them and keep track of them. So I'm going to use the command network, and I'm going to plug in the subnet number. That's another reason why we filled these in. 172.16.00. That's the subnet number, 00, followed by the inverse mask. Okay. Well, our inverse mask, our subnet mask was this. Let me get my notepad handy. Notepad. My subnet mask for this network is 255.255.192.0. And let's make this big. I want font. Let's go 22. There we go. That's my subnet mask. The inverse is essentially the opposite. As I always say, don't know. Okay, there's the opposite. The opposite of 255 is 0. The opposite of 0 is 255. I just need to figure out the opposite of 192. Well, 192 equals this right here. So the opposite of that would be don't know yet. 0, 0. That is the opposite. This right here is the number that needs to go in this octet. Well, I'm going to give you a hint. 128.64. This is the 64 place. So 1 less is going to be 63. This right here will be 63. That's the inverse of this 192. This right here is 63. So my inverse mask will be 0063.255. 0063.255. And I need one more piece of this command, area 0. Area 0 means the backbone. We're going to put all these in the same portion of the network. That is my first subnet. I'm going to be smart now. I'm going to hit the up arrow and plug in the next subnet. Pull the up arrow and put in the next subnet. Smarter, not harder. So 64.0 and then 128.0. That is my 3 subnets. And I get my inverse like I showed you. I'll figure them out, or I start paying attention to I borrowed the 64 place, so my inverse will be 63. That's the little shortcut you can use there. Mr. Brown's winking while we do that. Okay, so there is my router config done. I'm going to do exit, show run, and I'm going to look at my config. I'm going to make sure these numbers are correct. If they are wrong, back here I show you how to fix them. Here's how you fix them. And I'm also going to make sure all 3 of these are here. Again, if they're missing, here I show you how to fix them or add that line in. Make sure all 3 are there and they are correct. What I'll do at this point is do the copy, run, start. Now, on this one, if I do a copy, run, start, it should work. On the other router, I think it wants the full command. So this router's done. I'm going to move the console cable over to the other router and do the same thing over there. So let me reach up and move the console cable to my 4221. Now, make sure for this one, we are following the other half of my network map. Here is, I'm going to scroll back here a little bit, and we're going to run through these commands with the other router. Enable, config T, host name on this guy. This one will be 4221. What we were calling it. Router subnet. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so there's that router. We have 2 interfaces on this one. It's going to be gigabit 000 and gigabit 001. So let's do int. I'll start typing gigabit and do tab 0/0/0. Okay. Again, I'll show you interface. Gigabit, I start typing GI tab 0/0/0. Now I can plug in this IP address. 00 is the 128.1. So 172.16.128.1, followed by the subnet mask. No shutdown. This should come online. I should see that port come on. I should see a note there. I'm now going to do the, oh, come on now. Interface, I'll start that again. Interface, gigabit Ethernet, 0/0/1. IP address, and I'm going to pay attention to this one up here now. Okay, 172.16.64.2. Make sure I don't conflict with this one. 64.2. 192.0. No shutdown. Now that I've done this one should go on. So if I wait a second, I'll see some more messages about these links coming online. Let's do the routing protocol. Right here, I'm going to plug my 3 networks in. So router OSPF2, network 172. Oh, come on now. 172.16. We have 00. Inverse mask 0.0.63.255. Area 0. Enter up arrow for 64. Up arrow for 128. Exit. Do a show run. I'm looking to make sure these numbers are correct. Right here, make sure this number is right. Make sure this number is right. If it's not, repeat these commands to fix it. Okay. I'm going to make sure all 3 networks are here under the router config. If not, add it. Maybe take the bad one out, say no in front of it, and then put the right one back in and make sure they're all there. And then once that is done, we can do a copy, run, start. I think actually on this one, hold on, let me see if I can do the shortcut real quick. You can do it. Copy, run, start. I think this is the one that, oh, actually, no, this one does do it. Okay. We do have some routers and switches in our lab room that don't take the shortcut. That's why I have the full command there for you. All right. We have both switches and both routers done. Next podcast, I'll come back and we'll get our workstations set up and do some pinging through the network and make sure everything is functioning.